In this video, we'll be showing you how to change the old control box for the new control box on a Shifta conveyor. First of all, we're going to be moving the belt to one side or taking the belt off to be able to get access to the control box. Take the lid off the control box, undoing these 4 bolts as shown, and we'll show you now how to do the rest. Once you've taken the lid off the control box, you'll be able to see the old inverter. The top right hand side, you'll see the cables going into the inverter. On the left, you'll see the earth cables. We want to remove each one of these. So start by removing the cover off the top right hand side and proceed to take out each one of the connections on both sides of the inverter. Once done, you're ready to take the control box out. To do that, there are 3 bolts that need to be undone. One is on the inside of the conveyor, the second is just underneath the stop-start buttons on the left, and the third is underneath the fast-slow button on the right. Proceed to take out all wires from the control box by feeding them out of the grommets. You'll have a set of cables which come from the motor, a set of cables from the power input on the left-hand side of the machine, and also a set of cables from the emergency stop buttons situated just above the control box. Refit the new control box to the shifter and remove the lid to be able to get access to the new inverter. Push back in the cables from the machine into the new inverter box. We're now going to start to rewire the new inverter into the machine. We'll start with the stop circuit. On the inverter wiring, you'll have these 4 wires, the blue, 2 blacks and a grey. Connect the 2 wires from the emergency stop button circuit to the blue and one of the black wires. Next, we'll wire in the 2 wires from the thermal cutout, which on the motor is 7 and 8, into the 2 remaining wires, the black and grey, going into the inverter. Once that's completed, tuck this loom behind the inverter to keep it nice and tidy inside. We'll now connect the power cables to the inverter. Take these 3 cables on the machine and plug them into the corresponding cables on the inverter. Next, we're going to wire in the motor to the inverter. The remaining set of cables in the inverter are the motor cables. You have an earth and 3 brown cables. These cables are plugged into the motor wires. The earth plugs into the earth, and the 3 brown cables plug into the 3 connectors left going to the motor. It is now time to test the machine. Keep the control box lid off the control box and plug the machine into a power supply. Press the forward direction on the machine and make sure that the motor is turning in the correct direction. If it is not turning in the correct direction, turn off the machine and remove the power supply. You then need to swap over 2 of the brown wires going into the inverter, which will change the direction of the motor. Plug back in the machine and retest to make sure the direction is correct. Once completed, ensure all cabling is pushed into the control box and the glands are done up tight to prevent water ingress. For any other questions or for help whilst changing the control box, please give us a call.